12 months of hard work, setbacks, late nights, long days, every moment has led to this. The site is ready, the plans are set, and the dream we've carried for so many years is finally coming to life. This project is going to be epic, and we're bringing you along for every step. Welcome to our build series, From the Ground Up. This is where it all begins. If you're new here, we're a homesteading, house building family of 6, and this is the very first video of our house building series. This wasn't the first location we chose for our house. So the paddock next door to the house site here, where Fontaine is actually ours as well. That's about 4 acres. So that's about a third of our 12-acre property in itself. We initially talked about having a house up the back corner, pretty much as far from the road as it could be. The only thing that really stopped us from doing that was getting services that far into the block. We paid around $27,000, and that was about a 260 odd meter run of power. So to get it to that back corner, it probably would have been another 260 meters, if not more. So that power bill would have been almost $60,000. We thought that we were going to build it still in that paddock, but just close to the gate here. But then we liked the overlook of the dam, and so we decided to move the house over into this paddock, which was kind of like unused. We didn't really have any real plans for this area behind the dam, but once we mowed it and had a look at it, it's actually quite flat. This section alone is almost an acre. There is already a nice driveway into this area. It is grass at the moment, but it does sort of loop behind the dam. There's a nice sort of area for a driveway to go. So it kind of just made sense for how much money we had set aside to connect power, and water would have to obviously run as well. So we have water running in our little carport structure. And there is the junction for water is just under our power box, so it's not going to be too hard to get water from there and branch it off to our house, which I'm also going to have to do for our little toilet block. We have our septic system installed now, and we are going to build a little toilet block here. It'll just have a shower, a toilet, a basin, and in the future hopefully expand it to also include a sauna. It's my dream to have a sauna one day. So like, subscribe, share. The only progress we've made so far, we've put these stakes in the ground, which marks the perimeter of our house. After putting these stakes in the ground, we've come to realize that where the dam is, we want to have a bit more space in between the dam wall and the house, to have a bit more of a driveway landing, have more opportunity for picket fence and more landscaping room. The guy that did the soil test said the further away that you can build the house from the dam, the firmer the ground should be. So we're going to take that advice. We're going to move the house about 7 meters further away from the dam. So I'm going to give this area a quick mow and a quick slash, and move these stakes over, and then we'll have a look at the house plans.
So we had lots of time to think about what kit home we wanted to put on the land. We initially thought maybe we would do a removable home, but after weighing up the pros and cons of a kit home versus a removable home, we decided to go with a kit home. And we looked at many of the more popular kit home companies in our area. All the ones that we found were steel framed kit homes. And from the advice that we got from a lot of our chippy friends and other people who've built, people who work in construction, they all advised us to steer away from the steel framed kit homes if we could, and go for a timber framed kit home. Once we added that criteria onto our list, we found prestige kit homes. So that was our starting point for looking for kit homes, basically. It initially felt really overwhelming when we started browsing all of the different designs, and we kind of thought, like, which one do we pick? How do we know which one to pick? I think a really good starting point for us was establishing what we intended to use our home for, which seems such a vague and like arbitrary question, but it is really important when you're thinking about what you want to incorporate into your house. So when we were browsing the floor plans, there are so many beautiful, comfortable, spacious floor plans that would really have been perfect in terms of the kind of zones that we're wanting in our home. And when we realized that we had to be really intentional with the floor plan that we picked, we realized that it would be really unnecessary to have so much floor space in a house that we were ultimately building to accommodate an outside lifestyle, if you know what I mean. Like, we bought 12 acres for the purposes of using the land, and that would essentially mean we're outside all day. So to have a floor plan that incorporated a lot of like the modern features of a house, like media rooms and, you know, multiple offices and, you know, butler's pantries and things like that. While I understand that a lot of those have functional purposes, it just seemed very unnecessary for the kind of lifestyle that we were trying to pursue by buying the land in the first place. So we avoided the temptation of looking for floor plans that had like parents' retreats and rompers rooms or entertainment rooms and those kinds of features, and really try to stick with the basics. We also wanted to keep in mind that this is going to be our forever home. We basically plan to die here. So we didn't want to pick something that we felt like we had to downsize from once the kids had left home. We wanted it to feel like it was appropriate for not just our family and our growing family, but for Jake and I in a couple of decades' time. We also pretty big on hosting and entertaining. We wanted something that really made like the kitchen and living and dining spaces like the central focus of the home. And a lot of the modern floor plans don't have those kinds of like open spaces. And if they are open living areas, they're quite small and really narrow. A lot of the modern floor plans are designed for really narrow lots. So finding a floor plan that prioritized the social part of a family's lifestyle was surprisingly challenging to find. So those are the intended use or the vision of the home. And in terms of practicality, obviously we needed something that had a minimum of 3 bedrooms. We wanted something that had, I guess, like zones in terms of like the social entertaining part of the house, then the parents' suite, and then the kids' part of the house, like a space for the kids to sit, like a breakout room kind of thing. And I really wanted a laundry. We didn't have a laundry in our suburban home. It was like kind of like a cupboard. With the family of 6, we really needed a designated space to manage laundry. And especially on a farm, I think that's going to be even higher of a priority. So the next big thing that I took into consideration was an outdoor living space. We live in like one of the most comfortable climates in the world. We get to enjoy outdoors every season of the year. And so I really wanted to capitalize on that and pick a floor plan that had an outdoor living space that was easily incorporated and accessible to the social parts of the house, the communal parts of the house. And then the last and probably the biggest factor was light. We didn't really have much light in our suburban home. The houses were so close together that one side of the house basically didn't get any light. And we only really got light in the late hours of the afternoon, which is when it was hot as well. And I really wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to pick something that took advantage of where the light was at all times of the day and all seasons of the year. So I wanted something that captured the sunrise in the mornings, that captured the sunlight in the winter, so all along the north side of the house, and blocked off the hot afternoon sun on the west side of the house. And so this is sounding like a tall order, and it is, and I feel like if I didn't pursue these preferences, that I felt like I was settling. So with all of those things in mind, we ended up deciding to go with the Hunter floor plan. This is the Hunter floor plan here from Prestige Kit Homes. The prices start from $145,000, and that's just with the standard features, I think, up to lockup. We did a couple of upgrades. We upgraded our ceiling from 2.4 to 2.7, and we also upgraded the cladding, the longer 180 millimeter James Hardie linear weatherboard, so they look like Queenslander weatherboards. This is the original Prestige Kit Homes Hunter floor plan. We saw the potential of this floor plan, and we were able to make some customizations to it. They were very accommodating and super friendly, and the alterations that we wanted to do to this floor plan didn't end up adding to the cost of the kit. So we're very grateful for that, but they are just very slight, minimal, just like preferences. So this is what we decided to do to the Hunter floor plan. Firstly, we decided to flip the entire floor plan so that the bedrooms and the living would be facing the north and the master bedroom would be facing the east. The kitchen is now facing south, and the bathroom and laundry are facing the west with the carport on the west side of the house. The other alteration that we decided to do was make this back wall flush with the rest of the kitchen and remove this nook here. The other major alteration that we made to this floor plan was this master suite. This is where the sun comes up in the morning, but we wouldn't get any morning sun because this is a wall here. And I really wanted natural sunlight in the mornings coming into the main living spaces. So we ended up removing all of this space. It's just a massive, massive ensuite storage robe for us personally, because we knew we wouldn't be using these spaces that much during the day. And an ensuite, you're in there for like what? Maybe maximum an hour a day. So we decided to sacrifice that space and turn it into a small wardrobe that is accessible through the thoroughfare into the bedroom, and a little ensuite with the shower here, the toilet here, and this is the sink. This is where the door will be into the master bedroom, and this looks like it's a small ensuite, but it's bigger than the one that we had in our suburban house, so we know that's going to be perfectly suitable. And by doing that, we were able to open up this space here that gets sunlight in both this window and this window in the mornings. And now we have a dining room with natural sunlight. So we put in some French doors here. These are the French doors that are on our carport. They'll have the double hung windows, casement windows on the side, and that'll just look beautiful in the mornings. The other alteration that we decided to do was turn this space into like a breakout room for the kids. So there was a lot of shuffling that happened over here, and you can see that there's 3 bedrooms here. It made more sense to have an extra living space that the kids could retreat to in our temporary homeschool room. So we decided to move the laundry from here to this room and shorten this room, and also remove the storage. These walk-in storages are just such a waste of space. If you have the space on your floor to do it, but otherwise you can superimpose these walkways into like wall storage somewhere else in the house. So we're just completely getting rid of that storage and sacrificing this bedroom for the laundry. We've closed off this part of the bathroom, turned this into a hallway, and this way we can put the door to the laundry in here, and made the toilet bigger, turned it to the side, and that way you can access the toilet from the outside of the house, which is important for not just entertaining, but also when you're busy outside and covered in mud. It's nice to not have to take off all your muddy gear, and you can also obviously access the toilet from this hallway as well. And lastly, the other alterations we made was not incorporating the kit standard doors and windows. We decided to buy our own doors and windows. Those are the doors and windows that we actually have on this carport. So there are 2 of the cedar awning casement windows on either side of the front door, and then there is those white French doors that we have on our carport, one on the dining room, and one of those will also be in the master bedroom. So we'll have beautiful double hung sliding windows. There is one more window that we don't have on the carport, and it is a servery window. So we decided to put a servery window here into the kitchen, and that way you'll be able to incorporate the outdoor space into the kitchen and serve food on the servery. That's where the sink will be, so you can interact with your guests when you're washing dishes and serving them through the kitchen to the back deck. The back deck is 4 meters this way and it's 7 meters this way, but the entire width of the wraparound deck is 23 meters. But when we're entertaining, I can imagine it would mostly just be using this space, which is plenty of space. We had a deck 4 meters by 9 meters in our suburban home, and that was plenty of space as well. And then the last alteration that we made to the space was turning the island bench into this orientation and adding some benches down the side here. And like I said, the sink will be here as well. So nothing too complex, mostly kind of just shifting around walls and stuff that were already existing in the space, but just making it more efficient for our family routines and our workflows and how we intend to use the space. Now, in terms of aesthetics, we really wanted something that was timeless and suitable for the land and the area, which we were happy to go with something that was more of like a traditional farmhouse style with the wraparound veranda. The wraparound veranda is extremely expensive, but it's definitely an investment. We have been so blessed with this land, and the house site that we have picked has views on every side of the house. So it made sense for us to go ahead with the wraparound veranda and make sacrifices on other things in the home. So we are only committed contractually up to the lockup stage of the home. The contract price ended up coming to about $200,000, including those upgrades that I mentioned earlier. But there's still going to be many expenses ahead of the lockup stage with the lining and the fit out. We're really pleased with the floor plan and how that planning process went with Prestige Kit Homes. We are very confident with the skill sets that we have to be able to execute this. We picked something that wasn't going to be too complex. So now I'll hand over to Jake, who is going to walk you through the floor plan on the actual house site.
So we'll be walking up some stairs here to get onto the veranda and up to the front door. From the pegs, there's 2 meters of veranda that goes all the way around the house. So we might just do a bit of a walk around the veranda. In the middle of the veranda at the back, just outside the kitchen, will be a 4-meter veranda because the house juts in a little bit where the kitchen is. Roughly here will be a back door walking into the kitchen. So right now we're in the kitchen area, sitting area, dining, looking out to that field up there. There'll be another doorway here that leads into a hallway, roughly here, that will come to our master bedroom with one of the French doors from our carport that looks out to that view going out onto the deck. Now walking back down our hallway, back into the living room, through the sitting area, past the front door. There'll be another door into a kids' rumpus area and schoolroom. Then there'll be 2 bedrooms for the kids to share. One here, and over here in the corner will be separate toilet and then shower, basin and sink in here. Next to that will be another doorway from the kids' rumpus area for a laundry sort of wet room, roughly about here. That will also have a door that leads out to the deck, somewhere about here. It'll walk out back into the deck. So you can come up onto the deck from the back steps, into the laundry, wet room, get your muddy gear off. You're not trudging mud through the house.
So as you can imagine, I have a very specific aesthetic and design in mind for the build. It's going to be like country core, like old world kind of feel. Here's a mud map to roughly give you an idea of what the future plans are for the landscaping and other infrastructure. The plan is to have a schoolhouse on the west side of the house with a gym, and this is the shower block that we are also in the process of making at the moment. There will be a designated lawn and garden for those pieces of infrastructure. We also plan to put a scullery in the future. That's just going to be to process dairy, meat, and other homestead produce. There'll be an al fresco to facilitate outdoor entertaining, and the driveway coming through alongside of the dam. The front of the house is roughly 500 square meters, and it's just going to be a beautiful cottage garden with a picket fence and a paved path from the fence all the way up to the front stairs of the house. And last but not least, a solid 1/4 acre beyond the lawn will be dedicated to the family vegetable garden with fruit trees and the works. So we really tried to maximize the wraparound veranda and make sure that we get to enjoy every square meter of that veranda. So I'll hand you over to Jake and he will get the drone up to roughly like eye level height, so you'll be able to see the views from the different sides of the house.
Initially we were going to have our house 950 mils off the ground at the highest corner because anything over 1 meter needs extra engineering drawings for extra bracing, and that's not as complicated as I thought it would be. So we've ordered the steel that we're going to use for our house stumps, and with no wastage, the posts itself are going to be 1.1 from the ground now at the highest point of the house. Then it'll have the adjustable top screwed on top, then it'll have the bearer, then it'll have the joist, and then the subfloor. So by the time all that's done, the floor level will probably be around about 1.5 when you're standing up on the deck. What's that? I'm 1.8, so about my chest. So the plan is, because now we will have some of the house over 1 meter, we're just going to get the posts installed, and then I'm going to send the kit home company any post that is over 1 meter, and then they will do a bracing design just on the section of the house that is over 1 meter. Might be the whole house, might not be. We'll see how we go. I'm not 100% sure what the gradient is once we move the house over 7 meters. I hope this has made you as excited as we are about the plans we have for our house and what we're going to build. The next episode of From the Ground Up will be preparing the house footings and stumps for concreting. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you'd like to be notified when the next episode comes out. Don't forget to turn notifications on under the subscribe button. You can also now find us on Instagram. I'll put links down in the description. But for now, thanks for joining us on the Brook, and I'll catch you in the next one.